guys, welcome back to Uber Eats Hustle. This is David. It is Tuesday. As you know from following my channel previously, Tuesday is typically the slowest day here in the Dallas market. So Tuesday is the day that I usually take off, which is what I'm doing today. Now, for a number of reasons, I didn't work as much as I typically do this past week. However, and I'll show you in a little while, my earnings were the best dollars per hour I've ever earned over a period of a week. I'll show you that at the end of the video. But I didn't work as much as I typically do over the last week, so I don't have as much footage as I usually do to show you a whole video montage of me making deliveries to different customers and, following up with the earnings report at the end. So since I don't have that much footage, instead of doing one of those videos, I'm going to instead do this video today where I'm going to share with you 5 crucial pieces of equipment every Uber Eats driver needs to have. Now, this is not a list for veterans looking for little tweaks and tips of items that they can add to their gear collection that will, help them either, earn more money or do things like that. This is a list of basic items that a new Uber Eats driver needs to know they need to have with them in the car at all times. They're crucial pieces of equipment that you cannot do this without, but that they don't necessarily tell you about in the app whenever you're applying to do this job. Now, first item on the list, you absolutely need to have a thermal bag, or as some people call it, a hot cold bag. You're gonna be picking up people's food. Food, in order to be safely served, needs to maintain a certain temperature until it is eaten. And in order to do that, you need to make sure that that food is being served either appropriately hot, if it is hot food, or appropriately cold, if it's something cold that you pick up. The only way to do this is with a thermal bag that is going to help block out outside air and is going to help maintain that temperature inside the bag. I can't tell you how many delivery drivers that I see getting into their cars with someone's order and never putting it inside of a thermal bag. By the time that order gets to that customer, if it's hot, it's going to be cool, room temperature, lukewarm, and it's not going to provide a good eating experience for your customer because they're going to want their food hot, and that could affect your ratings and potentially your tip. And more importantly, it's not safe to eat food that has not been held or maintained at a certain temperature. I guarantee you that your local health department has very specific guidelines over serving temperatures for hot foods and for cold foods. So please look into this information, or if you don't want to go to that trouble, just remember, buy a hot cold bag. The next piece of crucial gear that you are not going to get far without is a car charger. Now, I covered this in my last video where I talked about a checklist of 7 things you need to make sure you check before you get in your car. And I felt it was important enough to reiterate here. Without a car charger, your phone is going to die after only a few hours. I don't care how many milliamps your battery has, how new your phone is, how big the battery size is. If you go out and you do this for a number of hours at a time, Uber driver app drains the heck out of your battery life because your screen is constantly on. And especially if you're doing this during the middle of the daylight where it's very bright outside and you need to have the brightness up on your screen, that's just going to drain your battery even faster. So you need to carry a car charger with you, or at least some type of battery backup device. I found a cheap car charger at Walmart, and I think I found my charging cable for about $4 at Fry's Electronics. So you don't have to get fancy here. Yes, you can go with manufacturer specific recommendations and, buy something expensive if you want to, but in my experience, there's really no need to. Just make sure you come armed with a car charger that is rated for your device, and you'll be good to deliver all day long. Now, the third item you're gonna wanna make sure you always take with you whenever you're delivering for Uber Eats is a dash mount for your phone. Now, a dash mount, which you've probably seen, is a little device. It's about this big. There's 100 different brands and styles. Essentially what it does is it allows you to have your phone constantly attached to your dash, either on an AC vent, or maybe it's a suction cup that attaches to your windshield or your dash top, something like that. So essentially what you want to avoid is having your phone just free sitting inside of a, Essentially what you're trying to avoid is having your phone just free sitting down in, the change tray that's underneath your radio or your center console or anywhere that you could potentially feel tempted to pick up your phone and have to touch it and use it while you're driving. You're going to be in your car all day long, so you need to be not touching your phone while you're driving any more than you absolutely have to. When I'm in my car driving, the Uber Driver app is the only app that is open on the screen of my phone at any time. Because here in the state of Texas, it is actually illegal to be using a wireless device while you're driving, which I don't think that's such a bad idea, frankly. I know there's a lot of accidents and deaths and terrible things that have happened from people either texting or otherwise playing on their phones while they're driving. So get a dash mount for your phone. Essentially, you want to have it in a place where it is completely visible to you at all times, but to where you don't need to physically pick it up in order to tap a quick notification on your screen. Safety is of the utmost importance while you're driving, and that is why you need a dash mount. Again, dash mounts are pretty cheap. You can pick them up from Target or Walmart. I think mine came from Target and was maybe around $20 or so. Mine connects to the AC vent, and it's one where I don't even have to adjust anything. There's two little buttons that I, push in on the side to open up the phone tray, and I just click my phone in there and it automatically closes. It's good to go. Now, the fourth piece of equipment that every Uber Eats driver needs to have isn't really a piece of equipment at all. What I'm talking about here is a mileage tracking app. You're gonna be in your car driving all day, and as I've mentioned before in previous videos, when you're driving for Uber Eats or any delivery service, time is of the essence. You don't want to be fiddling with a big spiral or a clipboard with a mileage chart on it and writing down your start location, your stop location, your starting mileage, your end mileage, and calculating constantly. There's so many apps out there that do that for you, so just make sure that you get one. For the past few years, since I started doing Uber Rideshare, even before I started doing Uber Eats deliveries, I've just been using QuickBooks Self-Employed. It's about $10 a month. I think after tax, it comes to $10.81. It's set up on an auto charge with my debit card. The reason that I like it is because not only will it automatically track mileage for you, it has really simple left or right swipe options to let you indicate whether a trip was for business or personal reasons. And if they are for business reasons, you can pre-save specific ones that come up very, very often for you. So you can just say, swipe to say it's business, and then click to say that it's a rideshare ride or a delivery drive or whatever. And the final piece of equipment that every Uber Eats driver needs to have when they go out to work is a phone case. Yes, you need a case for your smartphone. You are going to drop it. Trust me, it's happened to me a number of times. While I don't think that everybody needs to have a big chunky LifeProof or OtterBox case on their phone, I'm personally not a fan of those. Some type of protective plastic, silicone, polycarbonate, whatever you choose to have on the outside of your phone, just something to protect it from impacts when you inevitably drop it on the ground. But David, I've never dropped my phone on the ground. Why did you think I'm suddenly going to when I do Uber Eats? Listen, you're gonna be in and out of the car all day long. You're gonna be using your phone constantly every time you accept an order, log into the app, log out of the app. Click that you've picked up somebody's delivery. Click that you've dropped off somebody's delivery. Take a picture showing that you're dropping off someone's delivery. All of these times are times when you're going to interact with your phone. If you're like me, you'll find that when you are getting out of the car, going into a restaurant, getting back in your car, you pretty much have your phone in your hand almost the entire time. And since your phone is going to be in your hand all the time while you are picking up food from a restaurant, getting in and out of your car, dropping it off at someone's door, getting food in and out of your hot cold bag. These are all times at which you're going to have your phone in your hand and likely be using it. So, given that your phone is going to be suspended several feet off the ground, so much of the time being interacted with while you are concurrently doing something else with your other hand, you're going to drop your phone eventually. Knowing that, plan for it. Just put a case on it. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, super expensive, just something that's going to help protect it in the event that you do drop it. All right, guys, and that concludes my list of 5 crucial pieces of equipment that every Uber Eats driver needs to have with them every day. Thanks for hanging around till the end of the video. I know I mentioned earlier that if you stuck around till the end of the video, I would show you what my hourly earnings were over the course of all the hours that I worked last week, as well as what my total earnings were. So let's take a look and see how they ended up. All right, guys, David here. You can see that last week I didn't work very much at all. You'll see right here, my total online on-app time was 13 hours and 45 minutes. I only completed 36 trips. However, my earnings for the week were $553.84 across 13 hours and 45 minutes of working time. That means that when you divide that out, I made $40.29 per hour over the course of the whole week. Now, can you do that when you're working 30, 40, 50 hours a week doing Uber Eats? No, you can't, at least not in my experience. And the reason for that is because there are a limited number of super profitable hours. Now, what you're seeing here are the results of only working the most profitable hours over the course of the entire week. I worked afternoon and dinner rushes on Wednesday through Sunday. And actually Sunday, I called it quits pretty early because of the protests and riots and things like that going on down in the downtown area of Dallas in the latter part of the day. So I essentially only worked the afternoon and part of the dinner rush for Wednesday through Sunday. I took Monday and Tuesday completely off. And over the course of those 5 days, I worked not even quite 14 hours on the clock. So I'm really being super selective and choosy about the hours that I am working. I am only working in the busiest areas that have the highest instance of surge at the times of day that have the highest instance of surge. And then on top of that, I am providing great customer service to all my customers and being kind to restaurants so that my customers are kind to me with tips as well. You can see here in the tip line, 264 out of 553, essentially tips accounted for just a little less than half of all the money that I earned over the entire week, and had $146 in promotions as well. I only made $142.27 as far as plain net fares goes. So that really shows you the benefits that you can get from one, providing excellent service to people, and two, working in areas that are very busy and have higher end restaurants where people tend to tip well. I know I've hit on these points in previous videos. I just really wanted to show you what is possible when you just focus on those essentials as I've done here. Thank you so much for joining me again today, guys. I hope you've had a great weekend and are well rested and are ready for a nice busy week of Uber Eats hustling. If you like this video, please feel free to give me a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this that give you great tips on how to maximize your Uber Eats earnings as well as improve your experience while running on the platform, feel free to subscribe to my channel and you'll see videos like this every week. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.